So this is going to be an instructional / overview video of the Laika Kosmo 412DS. This is a 2024 build. We are going to go around the external of the vehicle and then we will go into the habitation area. This is just to highlight all the main components in the vehicle for everyday use, especially your drain valves, giving you your locations for your valves to shut and open. First thing I'm going to show you is how to open the bonnet, and this is just in case you need access to the bonnet area for any reason, and mainly if you need to jump start the vehicle. So if you come round to the passenger door, open the passenger door, and then here you will see your bonnet release catch. All you need to do is pull that down once and that will then release. So as you can see, I have now got open the bonnet, and the main reason to open the bonnet is to highlight of where the terminal points are if you need to jump start the vehicle for any reason. So here, this nipple here, we have your negative terminal point, and then your positive is just down here, which we underneath this black cap. So this will be your positive point, and obviously under here you have got obviously your engine oil, and then your other main one will be your screen wash, which is just in front of the driver's position. So now we are going to carry on around the external of the vehicle. We'll start on the passenger side. So if you need to fill this vehicle up with diesel or AdBlue, this is next door to the passenger door. For your diesel, you will need your vehicle blade key to access that. And then as you can see, we've got a few things external wise here. So this here is your Truma flue. So you need to keep this clear at all times, especially when you are running on gas, as it does get quite hot. Here we have your mains hookup. So this is when you are connecting to a campsite or if you're on connection at home. Here we have an external barbecue point, so you just need to buy a quick release connector what connects onto this. Right below the barbecue point we have one of your drain valves, so this is going to be your grey waste drain valve. To open this valve you need to use this key here, this plastic key. And basically you put it on and twist it to the right, and that will open the valve and your water grey waste will come straight out here. And obviously to shut it, just a quarter turn again and that will shut the valve completely. Here we have your toilet cassette. The door is got a bit of a magnet on it, so it holds up there. And then on your cassette here, to take out your cassette you need to lift this orange tab up here. So you lift up and pull towards you, and that will release your toilet cassette. If you need to empty or clean your toilet cassette, how to do this is to empty it is twist this orange nozzle outwards, take this grey cap off, and then when you are emptying your cassette, if you put your thumb on this button here and hold the button in, that lets air into the top of the cassette so the fluids all flow out evenly. Also, you can open the cassette and clean internally as well if needed. And then once you are putting your toilet cassette back into place after cleaning, all you need to do is align it, push it in, and the main thing is that orange tab here is securely down, locked into place, ready to use. Obviously this is lockable as well. This vehicle has been fitted with a gas flow system. So to fill up your gas flow system, this is where your connection is here. You will have a few connections for the different countries, and then in here is obviously going to be your gas flow system. So here we have put the extra fittings. Like I say, this is for different countries like main Europe. I think there might be one for Spain or France separately, but you get all the adapters for your gas low system. As you can see, you've got 2 tanks here. You need to come to these valves to turn on the tanks completely, and then if you give the bottle a shake, your gauge is just on top here. So when that is moving, you'll see there's a green mark up here, but basically that is where your gauge is. If you know if they're full or halfway, these will be full because we do fit them and fill them up ready. Here we have your fresh water fill. So if you are needing to fill up your fresh water tank, you'll put your key in here, take the cap off. If you put your hose pipe in, we recommend a food gradable hose pipe just because it doesn't collect as much bacteria. And basically once the water starts to come back out of this hole, that means your fresh water tank is completely full. Obviously before filling anything in the vehicle, you do need to make sure you have got the valves all shut, which they're internal, so I'll show you when I get to them. And then as you can see here, we've got access to your garage area. Obviously we've got the extra travel seats here. You've got cab carpets in this one. This one's had a TV fitted as well, but there's lots of storage in this garage. And then on the other side there is a garage light. And on these locks they just twist, so that is actually shut, it's not going to fly open. But to physically lock these, all you need to do is put the key in and then quarter turn and then push them in, and when these are pushed in, that means the door is locked. As you can see, this one's out, so that is actually unlocked. I can still open this. I've already twisted the lock when I unlocked them ready, so they can just be pushed straight back in. Reverse camera on this vehicle is right up there at the top. Just be careful with when reversing, because the cameras are a bit deceiving sometimes. They're not like the car cameras where it has guidelines. As you can see, we've got a 240 volt mains in here, which obviously will only work on mains hookup. Got garage light. This will only work when the control panel's on. I have currently got the control panel on. As you can see, we've got a heating vent in here as well, so the garage is heated as well. So if you have got any wet equipment, you could potentially put in there and dry out as well. And then now, as you can see, we are on the driver's side. So on the driver's side, there isn't really any compartments apart from the garage. As you can see, this vehicle does come with an awning. So I'll send a separate link how to set up and use the awning on the email. Here we have ventilation for your fridge and freezer at the top. Just need to keep these clear at all times. And now we will go into the habitation area. So we'll start off from the front first in the cab area. So this vehicle does come with blackout blinds. So on the driver and passenger door, you need to pinch these and then slide them all the way across. Just be gentle with these because they are very delicate, and then they meet at the end on a magnetic strip. And then same on the front window, pinch, slide across, and they will meet in the middle on a magnetic strip and join together. And these just slide back and click back into place. So we've got functions on the steering wheel, entertainment there, and then we have got a rocker switch here. So basically what this is, you need to be cautious with this because you need to switch this on to have your entertainment on. But if you do leave this switch on, it will leave the radio on and could potentially drain your vehicle battery. This switch is so you can actually listen to obviously the radio when you are parked up at a motorhome site, because you will be plugged into mains hookup. But if you are off grid, just make sure that you are switching this off. Otherwise, like I said, you can drain your vehicle battery. And then driver and passenger seat do have swivel seats. To release this, all you need to do is pull this arm out and then they will both swivel. As you can see, this vehicle has been fitted with a TV. So this is on a swivel bracket, and then to release there is just a mechanism at the bottom, lower down, which then releases it to come out of the bracket. Up here we have your control panel for your habitation. So here is your control panel. So the top right, if I press and hold, that currently shuts that off, or your 12 volt. And then to turn it on, just press it once. The next one underneath is your water pump. On your water pump, you want to make sure that you have got water in the fresh water tank. You don't want to run that dry, otherwise you could potentially burn out the motor. Here is going to be your external awning light / porch light. On the left hand side, if you press this once, this will give you an indication on the top left of your habitation battery level. The next one will give you an indication of your vehicle battery level, and then the bottom left will give you your fresh water level. This is a rough gauge, and then obviously when your grey waste is full, it will flash as well. If you've transitioned all your fresh water to your grey waste, obviously your fresh water will be empty, and 9 times out of 10 your grey waste will be full. This one here, what looks like a plug. So when I am plugged into mains hookup, this will light up with a green light. If this does not light up with a green light, there's a fault somewhere. Most of the time the fault is on the site post. They usually trip because you're pulling a bit more power than they are giving you. Here is your Truma heating control panel. I will send another link on the control panel itself. And then this vehicle has been fitted with Wi-Fi. So this switch here is your power switch for the Wi-Fi. And then here is the user and password for the Wi-Fi, or you can scan this with your mobile phone and it will connect straight away. So if you have got this switched off on the Wi-Fi, obviously the Wi-Fi box won't give you any Wi-Fi. If you've got switches dotted around for the lights, so these are the master switches. So if I have switched these off at the master switch, obviously they won't come back on until I turn the switch on. Next, I'm going to show you one of the drain valves for the boiler. As you can see, I've got the cushions up already, but this side has got a travel seat. Obviously the frames was in the garage area, and then this side is where the other travel seat is. The main reason you will need access under here, you don't actually need to take the cushions off, because this panel here gives you access to this black drain valve below. And what this black drain valve is here, it's hard to show you just because I'm in a tight space, but basically this black valve is your frost protect valve for the boiler. So what the frost protect valve does, basically this is like a valve to drain your boiler, and obviously you need to shut this valve to fill up your boiler as well. If you try to fill up your boiler through the system and this valve is open, the water what goes into the boiler will drain straight underneath the vehicle. And basically this valve is called a frost protect valve because when it hits 3 degrees or less, this valve will trigger from the temperature. Basically it's going to protect your boiler because that's the expensive part on the boiler. So down here, to shut this valve, you need to twist the diamond valve on top and then push this blue button in lower down. As you can see, that valve is actually shut. So when I fill up my water system on the hot water side, that will then obviously let me prime the system. if I want to drain the boiler from all the water, if the valve is either me doing this manually, or obviously if the valve detects that it's 3 degrees or less, it will trigger. But to drain the water out of the vehicle from your hot water side, you need to twist this diamond valve on top. That blue button will pop out, and then that will let you that will let you drain all the water out of the boiler. Next, we're going to go over the kitchen area. Just before I do that though, if you are going to use this fold away table here, when you are using it, you just need to make sure you pull out the arm support underneath. So this will give it support on the other side. Obviously, if you don't pull that arm out, it will potentially break off because there's no support underneath. And it's these hinges here where it could pull out. So you just need to make sure you pull that support arm out if you are using that table. Here we have your oven and grill, which is on gas, and obviously you've got your igniter here. Your igniter will only work obviously when the control panel is on, because that's your 12-volt system. But to use this knob, you just push it in and twist, as long as obviously your gas is switched on. Above that we have your 2-ring gas burner. So on your gas burner, one safety thing we do highlight is obviously your glass cover here. Once you have used the gas hobs, is to leave this glass cover up for around 20 minutes just to let the stove cool down. Here we have your kitchen tap. So now we're going to prime our water system. So first thing I'm going to do in this vehicle is shut all the valves. So first things first, I'm going to go to the fresh water tank and shut that valve so it doesn't drain. I'm going to go to the boiler and then shut that valve, the black valve, and then I'm going to fill up my fresh water tank externally. Once my fresh water tank is completely full, what I need to do is come inside and turn on the control panel here, and then turn on my water pump. When I turn on my water pump to prime my system with water, all I need to do is open the tap on the cold side. So basically what this is going to do is pump the water from the fresh water tank, fill the pipework and straight out the tap. Once that is at a steady flow, that means your cold water side is primed. Now I'm going to prime up my hot water side, twist the tap to the hot side, and basically what this is going to do is take water from your fresh water tank, and it will fill up your boiler first. Your boiler holds around 10 litres of your fresh water, so this may take a minute or so. Once the water has filled up in your boiler, it will obviously come through your tap, and then again when you get a steady flow, that means your boiler / hot water side is primed and you can shut the tap. So that means all your water side, pipework, boiler is filled up with water ready to use. To use your hot water though, you do need to turn on the Truma control panel. Like I said, I'll send a separate link on this Truma control panel because this does your heating and hot water. Here we have your fridge freezer, and then up here, to turn this fridge freezer on, you need to press and hold the on button and it will light up. This is called a 3-way fridge, so you've got a few different ways to use this fridge. To change your source of use, you need to press and hold this and it will flash once. And now, as you can see, I am flashing on gas, but I can use these arrows to go through the settings. So A is for automatically select, so the fridge will automatically select the best source it has available. The next one, the plug symbol, is when I'm on mains hookup. The next one, the battery symbol, is when the engine's running, because this is taking a feed from when the alternator is charging up the leisure battery. And then the next one is gas on its own. Most people do leave it on automatic because it will select the best source it has available. And then obviously you've got your temperature here. Most people recommend halfway is enough, but you'll gauge that by filling the fridge yourself. But as you can see, I've left it on A. It's going to gas because I'm currently parked up. But if I turn the engine on, it will go automatically onto the battery symbol. And then if I do plug in, it will go automatically to mains hookup. To turn this completely off, just press and hold here, and that will then shut down the fridge freezer. We recommend to turn this on an hour before you are going on your journey, because that is enough time to get it cool to a decent temperature, and then when you set off travelling, obviously the engine will maintain that cold temperature. Here, underneath the bed, in this cupboard here, we have got your fresh water tank. So the only reason you need access in here is to access this black valve here. So basically this valve is to drain your fresh water tank, or if you need to close the valve to obviously fill up the fresh water tank. There is instructions on top of the board here. So as you can see on the right hand side, if you want to travel with 20 litres in your fresh water tank, you need to make sure the valve is completely closed, and then 1/4 turn will let your fresh water drain down to 20 litres for travel. If you want to close your valve completely, obviously turn it to the left and it will completely shut, and then 2 times 360 turns will completely open the valve and obviously drain all the tank completely empty, even the 20 litres as well. So all you need to do is just twist this black valve here all the way to the left to close, 1/4 turn to the right to 20 litres, or 2 full turns to the right to completely open the valve, and that will drain obviously your fresh water. But like I said, that black valve is if you need to shut that if you are going to fill up with fresh water, otherwise it will just drain straight out the vehicle. Down here under the floor we have your main breaker. So this is when you're on 240 volts, so check here if something trips on the 240 volt side. Like I said, most of the time it is the campsite because they reduce the power they give you. Obviously we've got hanging storage in here on each side. We've got some light switches there which are on a rocker switch, and then I think they have a USB on there as well. Here we have your shower cubicle. So once your system is primed, obviously all you need to do is open the tap there, and it will just pull any excess air through the pipework if you've not already done that. This is lockable as well here, so when you are travelling obviously it's not swinging around. And then we have your bathroom area. Same again when you base and tap there. Obviously once you primed the system, just any excess air in the pipework when you open it will come out. Down here we have your toilet. We've got your toilet blade here, so you need to open this blade here. Basically this is controlling the toilet cassette, so when you are using it you need to open it, and obviously when you're finished shut the valve, and that completely stops any obviously smells coming up from the toilet cassette. Here we've got your toilet flush, so the blue button is going to use your fresh water for the flush, and then this little indication here, what looks like a toilet cassette, that will light up with an orange/red light when your toilet cassette is full. So when your cassette is full, you just need to make sure you empty it. Obviously we've got drop down bed on this vehicle, so it's controlled by here. One thing I would keep an eye out on is this glass cover here. Obviously you want to make sure that is down, as you could potentially hit it when lowering the bed. Obviously we've got 2 touch lights up there as well. The bed ladder is currently in the garage for this. So that completes the overview / instructional video. Like I said, it's to highlight where the main components are on the Laika Kosmo 412DS. If you do have any more questions, leave a comment below, or you can always drop us an email or give us a call.